Hello, and welcome to my predictions video for WWE Backlash 2023. There are apparently 7 matches on this card. I am going to work up the Wikipedia article from bottom to top, as the bigger matches seem to be mostly congregated near the top of that list, so it makes sense to work bottom to top. But this is in no way a confirmed match order. This is just the order I've chosen to work through it. So we're going to start off with Bad Bunny versus Damian Priest in a San Juan street fight. I feel like this is going to have so many shenanigans and, interference and big, wild, crazy spots and whatnot, that it's probably realistically not going to matter who wins when it all comes down to it. But I think Bad Bunny's going to win. Damian Priest isn't exactly in the middle of any sort of monster push at the moment. He's kind of the forgotten figure in the Judgment Day in a lot of ways, honestly. So I don't think he loses anything by losing here in terms of momentum. He hasn't really got much anyway. And like I say, there's going to be so much shenanigans that it won't really matter. But I think, to please the audience in attendance, having Bad Bunny pick up the win is definitely a good way to go. They may even open or even close the show with this match. There's rumors that this could main event. But if they do either of those things, then it's almost definitely a Bad Bunny win for the send the crowd home happy, or start the show off with a babyface win that doesn't do any harm to the heel. I think Bad Bunny's gonna win. Up next, we're going to talk about the Raw Women's Championship match between a SmackDown roster member after the draft, Bianca Belair, and SmackDown roster member after the draft, Io Sky, who will be accompanied by Bayley and Dakota Kai from Damage Control. So, obviously, there's going to be something occurs here with the Women's Championships, as at least the Raw Women's Championship is guaranteed to be on SmackDown after this match. The SmackDown Women's Championship could be on either show, but we'll get to that later. But so that doesn't factor into the decision, is what I'm saying. And to be honest, I think there's no chance. If they were going to end Bianca's historic reign, it's either going to be after she breaks Becky's championship reign, which is going to be interesting because they are going to have to switch the titles. So will it count as a long Raw Women's Championship reign? I don't know. But it's either going to be after she breaks Becky's record, or it was going to be at WrestleMania. It didn't happen at WrestleMania, and she hasn't beaten the record yet, I don't think. So I don't think it's happening here. Also, Io hasn't really been built up as like Raw Women's Champion material, and that's not me saying I don't believe she is personally. I absolutely do. But in terms of her build and positioning within the roster, she's just not been built up as the person to beat Bianca Belair. Also, we've got all this Damage Control potential drama waiting to erupt. So I think there's a good chance maybe some interference might backfire, or something like that to cost Io the match, or something along those lines. But no matter how it goes down, I do think Bianca Belair retains the Raw Women's Championship here. Up next, we've got Austin Theory defending the United States Championship in a triple threat match against Bobby Lashley and Bronson Reed. Now, the main thing here has been Bobby Lashley and Bronson Reed hossing it up, hasn't it? So I think what's likely to happen here, first of all, I think the least likely result is Bronson Reed winning. Simply because Bronson Reed, I believe, has been drafted to Raw. The other two have been drafted to SmackDown. But Gunther, the Intercontinental Champion, has been drafted to Raw. So I think the US title is going to SmackDown. So that means it's going with Austin Theory or Bobby Lashley. Now, they've built up so much friction with Bobby Lashley and Bronson Reed that I think they're going to be the core focal point of the match. They may even take Austin Theory out early so that they can then fight uninterrupted and undistracted. I don't know. But however this goes down, I think the main crux of the match is going to be Lashley and Reed going at it, and then Theory's going to steal a sneaky heel dirty boy win at some point. I think that's where they're going with this, in my opinion. So yeah, I'm going to pick Austin Theory to retain the United States Championship. And I'm going to caveat it by saying if he doesn't, the new champion will be Bobby Lashley. But I really do think it's going to be Austin Theory here. Next, Seth freaking Rollins against Omos, the best built match in wrestling history. It was announced via a graphic on the SmackDown. Seth Rollins was like, "What?" on Twitter, and then Omos squashed someone this week on Raw, and Seth Rollins wasn't even mentioned. Seth Rollins cut a promo, and I don't even think mentioned Omos. It's just been a superb build. Like, they could learn a lot from this. Other wrestling promotions, how to build an exciting pay-per-view match. I think Rollins wins, right? Rollins is the early favorite to win the new WWE World Heavyweight Championship, so it makes sense for him to win here and build some momentum going into that tournament that I assume is either at Night of Champions or concludes at Night of Champions. I don't know exactly what the layout's going to be. But yeah, Omos tends to squash a load of jobbers and then lose the big match, so I sort of expect the same to happen here. They could go with an Omos win, then give Seth the world title, and then he's got a ready-made challenger in Omos to overcome. But surely they don't feed Rollins to Omos here. Alright, come on. Come on, guys. Come on, be real. So I'm going with Rollins to win, but this is the least confident I think I've been so far, because I really could just see them having Omos win. Like, I could absolutely see that. Anyway, I'm picking Rollins, and I'm moving on to the SmackDown Women's Championship match. Rhea Ripley, who's going to be accompanied by Dominic Mysterio, defending against Zelina Vega, who's going to be accompanied by Rey Mysterio. As much as they've done a good job of turning Zelina and the LWO in general face, by aligning with Rey, and as much as, is Zelina Puerto Rican? I believe she might be. So she's let me have a look. Like, she says she's American, but is she Puerto Rican heritage? Puerto Rican descent, yes, I've just checked on her Wikipedia page. So, yeah, Zelina may very well have, like, the hometown advantage, but WWE famously don't favour the hometown hero. If anything, they tend to go against that more than they go with it for heat, and I think that's what they're going to do here. Also, Rhea Ripley is, like, one of the most over women on the roster. She's just won this title at WrestleMania, and she's just so many rungs higher up the current ladder than Zelina Vega. Like, absolutely no disrespect to Zelina Vega as a performer, but in terms of perceived positioning in the pecking order, Rhea Ripley is just so much higher up at the moment. So yeah, Rhea Ripley retains here, and that's 3 title matches and 3 retains here. But there's a lot of talk of this feeling quite house showy, like a house show that we just happen to be getting on the network, as opposed to like a really serious premium live event. So yeah, I'm not expecting any title changes here. So yeah, Rhea Ripley to retain. Now, on to Cody Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar. Now, this is an interesting one, and I've seen a lot of people talking about this on the YouTubes during the build to this show, and the general consensus seems to be, if Cody beats Brock here, how the hell do you keep him busy until the rumored WrestleMania 40 main event where he'll eventually dethrone Roman Reigns? Like, because he's beaten the final boss. Brock Lesnar's the final boss of WWE, except Roman Reigns at this point. So, anything he goes on to have to overcome just becomes a step down. Like, he could get involved in the world title picture and fall short and fall short and fall short there. But I think what would be a more interesting way to go with the story, and what most people seem to agree on, is to have Cody lose here and do the... There's been a lot of parallels drawn between this storyline and the John Cena just lost to The Rock at WrestleMania 28? I think it was 28. Storyline. Where he's like, oh, this is the worst year of my career, and then beats Brock Lesnar. Like, no, he should have lost there, and I think Cody should lose here. So I'm going to go with Brock Lesnar to pick up the win. Then Brock will disappear for a little bit. Cody will have his little crisis of confidence, probably fail to win the World Heavyweight title, the new World Heavyweight title, and then go into a feud with whoever, maybe Omos, overcome Omos, then Brock comes back, and we could do the return match at, say, SummerSlam. And you see how we're sort of trying to pad this out to give Cody maybe another Rumble win. Or maybe the Rumble winner goes after the World Heavyweight Championship and Cody finds his way back into contention against Reigns some other way. Who knows how they're going to get there, but the point is, if Cody beats Brock here, it makes things a lot more difficult to get there and to take that long about getting there. So I think Brock Lesnar's going to win here. There's also the possibility of like just an absolute no finish. Like they brawl all over the place and get double counted out, double DQ'd. One of them gets DQ'd and it's not exactly a satisfying finish. Like there's possibilities here, but if either of them win, I think it should be Brock Lesnar. I'm not confident in saying it will be Brock Lesnar, but I'm gonna pick Brock here. I feel like this is the Triple H era. I know Vince is allegedly back involved in some capacity in the creative, but Triple H still has some say, and he likes these long, slow build storylines. And in this case, if they really want to do Cody dethroning Roman at WrestleMania 40, this is the way to go, is to go real slow with the build and have Cody really hit rock bottom. So, yeah. Brock to win. And finally, the main event per Wikipedia. Maybe the main event. It's a big match. Like, it's interesting. There's sort of 3 matches on this show, and they're almost guaranteed that 2 of them are going to open and close. But the other one's going to feel weirdly out of place anywhere in the middle of the card. And that's the Bad Bunny match, the Cody Rhodes Brock Lesnar match, and this one, the 6-man tag. But according to Wikipedia, this is match number 1. And I'm working bottom to top. So this is the one that's the main event of the predictions video, at least. And it's Matt Riddle, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn against the Bloodline, which is Solo Sikoa and the Usos. So they've been... Owens and Zayn and the Usos and Solo Sikoa and Riddle, I think, is with Owens and Zayn. They've all been drafted separately, so this should be the last time they're able to meet. And with that in mind, having the Bloodline pick up the win leaves questions hanging over. Should they get another shot at the tag titles? And yada, yada, yada. So I think probably... And also, there's just the crumbling of the Bloodline needs to continue to happen, doesn't it? So this is a good opportunity for something to go amiss. And someone to cost their team the match. So with that in mind, I'm going with the babyface team. I think Riddle, Owens, and Zayn pick up the win, and then we finally move on to the next chapter of the Bloodline saga that doesn't involve Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. They've done their damage. They've been set into a different brand. There's nothing more they can do now to the Bloodline. So they've done their work, though. They've started to create the cracks in the foundation. Like Sami Zayn said, he wouldn't rest until the Bloodline is broken up by him. But he's done enough damage to the foundations at this point, I think, for his character to be satisfied with it. So, yeah, I'm going to say Riddle, Owens, and Zayn win. What I would love to see, I don't know how likely this is to happen, like, because I don't know his status at all. But it'd be fun because, as like a nice little bow on top, for Randy Orton to reappear here and maybe cost the Bloodline because of obviously them putting him within kayfabe, putting him out of action for all this time. If he is ready to come back, this would be a really good moment. And then you could potentially move on to RK Bro and Owens and Zayn for the titles in like a mutual respect kind of thing, rather than faces versus heels. I don't know. It'd just be a fun way to reintroduce Orton if he's ready. I have no idea at all if he is or how close he is to being ready to return. If there's talk of if he'll return, so, or there was a while ago. So, fingers crossed he's doing okay. And if he's ever going to return, if he ever wants to return, if he's ever going to be fit enough to return, and if he's anywhere near that point now, what a time to do it. But yeah, I am going to predict the babyfaces to win. So, let me just recap my predictions. I've predicted Bad Bunny to beat Damian Priest, Bianca Belair to beat Io Sky, Austin Theory to beat Bobby Lashley and Bronson Reed, Seth Rollins to beat Omos, Rhea Ripley to beat Zelina Vega, Brock Lesnar to beat Cody Rhodes, and Riddle, Owens, and Zayn to beat the Bloodline. Let me know in the comments what you agree with and what you disagree with about these predictions and why. Like, let me know your reasoning if you're like, no, there's absolutely no way Zelina Vega isn't winning the SmackDown Women's Championship here. Like, let me know why. I'd be curious to discuss it. Absolutely. But yeah, let me know. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new here, etc, etc. But for now, all I have left to say is thank you very much for watching. As always, I've been Ebeza, you've been amazing, and I'll see you next time.